Welcome to this short GMP Detox session. We will have a focus today on the qualified person. So we talk about the European GMP for medicinal products. And let's start as quick as possible. My name is Markus Römer, and I have decided to do that today because a lot of people, and especially solution providers, totally misunderstand what a qualified person is doing. And if you would ask them directly, is there a difference between a certification and a batch release, they would say, oh no, it's the same. They would not even would be able to tell you the right order how it works. So let's have a quick view on that. I shared my screen again. And here, basically, in Chapter 2 of the European GMP EudraLex Volume 4, you see the duties. Chapter 4 is called Personal, and in Section 2.6, the duties of the qualified persons are described, blah, blah, blah. For medicine products manufactured within the European Union, a qualified person, those are written with big capitals, by the way, qualified person must ensure that each batch has been manufactured and checked in compliance with the laws in force in that member state and in accordance with the requirements of the marketing authorization. So, to certify against the marketing authorization. Sometimes I get the question during the certification process by the qualified person, does this person need to have access to the marketing authorization? Yes. And if it's stored in a database and you have a marketing authorization for your product for 140 countries, then the qualified person needs to have as an acceptance criteria access to the marketing authorization database or the documents or wherever you have placed them, because the certification is not the batch record review. The batch record review is done before the documents, the batch records are given to the qualified person. The qualified person can rely on the PQS, on the pharmaceutical quality system. A qualified person can review the batch records, but usually you will find it also here. The role of the quality control, the head of quality control or the head of production department should deliver all the documents as defined by the pharmaceutical quality system, and usually they are reviewed. So a qualified person, the job is not that you have someone who is checking if the weighing operator have crossed the correct boxes or deleted the comment fields where there have been no comments or something like that. The qualified person is basically doing the most important quality decision in your company for a batch, for example, because the qualified person is certifying a batch against the marketing authorization. So he or she is looking on the critical process steps, knowing the critical process parameters, the CPPs and the CQAs, the critical quality attributes, and that's the certification. Already what you see here in Annex 16, which I will open right now. You see, it's 2 steps: certification by a qualified person and then the batch release. There are requirements for the batch certification. The process of certification, don't call it that the QP is approving or releasing a batch. It's a certification. Be precise in using the word certification. There are the requirements for the certification. We don't go through that. You can read it by your own. It's written down in Annex 16 of the European GMP. And finally, here you see the release of a batch. Batches of medicinal products should only be released for sale or supply to the market after certification by a QP. Basically, a release of the batch. So the batch is in status quarantine. The QP has successfully certified the batch. Basically, anyone can release the batch. That does not need to be done by a QP, by a qualified person, because the only precondition is that it was certified by a QP. By the way, outside of Europe, if you are a PICS member, Annex 16 for sure was taken over one-to-one to the PICS GMP. The only thing that they have done is that they changed the name of the qualified person to the authorized person. but basically it's the same. WHO, they sometimes talk about the responsible person. In the US FDA, they do not have in CGMP such a role. What I find also very interesting today, there are different steps like batch record review, then the batch certification and the batch release, for example. I was looking here on that video, and basically the idea is fantastic. They call it a batch release hub or a QP cockpit or something like this. And all the information is brought to the certification process, to the QP. So it's like a big data warehouse where all the data is collected from monitoring, from have all suppliers been qualified? Was the correct material used? How was the analytical reports, the IPC controls? Again, access to the marketing authorization database is also required, and all goes to one single place, to the most important quality decision maker, the qualified person who will certify the batch. This video is so funny because everything in here is wrong. The solution seems to be on the slides absolutely great, but what these guys try to do is that the batch record review is the job of the QP. That's not correct. The QP should do the batch release. That's not correct. The word certification, or to certify a batch against the marketing authorization, these words are not used in 6 minutes and 11 seconds. So great solution, but you see how many misunderstandings are created. Again, a qualified person is certifying a batch against the marketing authorization. That's the highest quality decision that you can find. From that point on, the batch, the product, the medicinal product will come to you, to me, to your children, to my children. So this quality decision is very, very important. And don't say that the qualified person is doing the batch release and it's just looking on data and it's so important to give the signature, blah, blah, blah. No, it's the certification. It's an act, it's a formal act to certify a batch against the marketing authorization. Okay, I don't know how long it took me, but whenever you are in a meeting, you talk to MES or to ERP suppliers. This year is a very big ERP supplier, by the way. What kind of terminology they are using, and if they are aware of the different process steps, the review of the batch, the certification of the batch, and then we have the batch release. And it's not all in one. Go through the steps, define these 2 steps. You need to have the qualified person for the batch certification. There's a legal framework behind of that, but this video is quite very funny if you listen to that. Great solution. Every single word is simply wrong, and the most important words are missing. So that's for today, with a short reaction part also. Again, batch record review, batch certification by QP, batch release. Basically, batch release can do anyone if you have the knowledge or the trigger that the QP has certified the batch. Thanks so much. Hopefully that was helpful for you, and you will see that this happens very often, that the role and the steps are very often misunderstood. I have not found one single ERP system or MES system that they directly said, yes, we have understood that this is how it's implemented. Always configuration is needed. Hopefully this will improve. Thanks so much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.